Everyone in business is trying to develop that sweet passive income, but it is a little bit different than what most people think. And in this video, I'll explain the two phases that are going to help you to get that passive income eventually, but it's on the other side of this gigantic monster that you've got to slay. So let's get right into it. There are two phases in business. Number one is for you to completely and utterly become irreplaceable, indispensable, impossible to exchange with any other individual because you are the guy. You have to go through this stage first in order for you to get to that other side. There is no chance for you to get to that other side without this. And this is developed through skills. And we're going to go into depth about it because if you ain't got the skills, there's not going to be any climbing of the hills. You know what I'm saying? Now, the second phase of business is the opposite. It's completely and utterly replacing yourself and not being actively part of the business at all. So let's talk about skills, shall we? Which skills should you develop? It's very unclear at this time, ain't it? For vast majority of the people out there that are starting their own businesses, they don't have any clue what type of business to build. And also, not only that, but they don't know squat about which skills they need in order for them to succeed in that potential business. So imagine you've got 10 separate business models in 2 different industries, and then you've got your skill sets that you need to figure out, oh, which skill set should I develop and what should be the priority and how do I go about that? This is why OnTrack exists, by the way, to help you to navigate the beginning stage, the foundation laying of your massive future empire. Without understanding which type of business that fits with you, your personality, your likes, your experience, your past and your future and your present, without understanding this, you can't really lay a strong, sturdy foundation of years and years and years and hours upon hours and hours of skills development. Because you're going to go through some type of phase and period of time where you do this business and then you figure out, oh, I'm not interested in this business anymore. And then you move on to the next business and you're like, oh, I'm not interested in this business. But imagine if they could have just succeeded in their first business, or their second, or at least their third instead of their sixth, which is the average of what an entrepreneur does these days. So that's why you use a coaching program and community like us to assist you to go through and develop that strong foundation so you can pick the right industry, the right business model, the right skills to develop, prioritize skills, and then you just gung-ho and put in the hours in learning those skills. Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters is the amount of hours and the quality of those hours that you put into your business. How many hours have you done before you achieve financial freedom? What I've discovered, if you take on a skill set plus learning sales and marketing, it's going to take you a combined 2,000 hours in order for you to succeed. 2,000 hours is approximately 40 hours a week for a year. Now, if you do that next to a full-time job because you're doing the 80-hour work week, in my opinion, that is the ultimate way to go about building your business. If you would be that disciplined. Most people aren't, so it usually takes them 2 or 3 years in order for them to complete the 2,000 hours, or even the 1,000 hours for that matter. But if you just keep going and keep increasing those work hours, you will eventually figure it out. So if you're on a path and actually doing those hours, we need to figure out how to leverage those hours and make sure that you're getting the best out of those hours possible. How do you go about doing that? Let me first explain this one for you. The quality of your life depends upon the questions that you ask yourself. So would it make sense that the quality of the hours for you to get 2,000 and 2,000 hours towards getting your financial freedom is also based on the questions that you ask yourself? That seems like a logical correlation. So which questions are you asking yourself on your journey towards success? If you do not have a coach, if you do not have a community of people who are going the exact same direction as you or have already done it, they know which questions to ask in order for you to make the right priorities in your life for you to succeed in that specific industry. If you are just going about it your own way as a lone wolf, hoping to succeed without any other information, how are you going to ask yourself the correct questions? How are you going to know which things to prioritize and which things are not important? How are you going to know what to do and when to do it? You need brainstorming sessions. You need homework. You need other people to instill belief in your brain during the time frame that you absolutely want to quit. During those time frame when you think you absolutely suck, but you actually were massively progressing. Very often in business, we start the process and we feel that we're actually declining because we're failing. And so the natural thing to do if you're not fit for something and it doesn't seem like you are a fit is you quit. But the thing is that you're actually progressing when you're failing. That's the crazy part about success, is like when things are going horribly wrong, that's when you're learning the fastest. Because you'll remember those lessons, right? If things are going wonderfully and man, you're everything's happening the way that it's supposed to happen, how much did you actually learn on that journey? Not much. That's why it's such a good thing for you to have other people in your vicinity who have gone the same journey and that can instill that belief in you, as I've previously mentioned. Journaling would also help because it creates an awareness that allows you to ask yourself the right questions as well. But if you combine that together with coaching and community with people that have gone the way before you, bro, that's a roadmap to success that I wish everyone on their way towards financial freedom would have in their possession. But they don't. But since you got this video, you do today. Make sure you book your call down below. Another question that I would ask you at the beginning of your journey or the beginning of the coaching stage is, would you prefer to start your own business immediately and then have a coach kind of guide you on what's the next thing to prioritize? Or would you like to work for free for someone who's already a success in your field and then just shadow them? Meaning talk to them on a daily basis and just get the tasks and homework and things to do for them that's going to help that person. If you work for free for them, there's a proper value exchange happening where you're learning extremely quickly because they're going to critique your work continuously because there's a financial incentive for their business to actually do well as a result of you doing well in their business. So they actually want to teach you properly because they have to. Like, you're there to assist them. So why would they shoot themselves in the foot and not help you? See, if you're immediately starting as a competitor in that field, what is the incentive for them to even help you out a little bit? Like, because they'll just say, well, he's just going to copy me, so why am I even spending my time and attention teaching someone that when I'm not getting a financial incentive to do so? Doesn't make any sense, right? So what I would recommend everyone, and obviously you can make your own choices because you're an independent guy, but what I recommend as a coach is that you do shadow someone and that you do work for free for someone in your specific field and industry so that you can develop skill sets that are necessary when you are going to start your own business. Most people don't think like that. They're like, oh, I want to own everything. That's fine. And I want to do my own thing. That's fine. And I'm just going to do it my own way. Big problem. It's not going to work, bro. And as a result, you're going to quit. And when you quit, you go to a different business. And guess what? Those 1,000 hours, they now have to be completely and utterly restarted, which was retarded, okay? Because that's what happens. Every single industry or every single business model that you switch over, those skill sets might translate over to that different business and business model, but they might not as well. And that's wasting time. We don't want to waste time towards financial freedom. We wish we had financial freedom yesterday. Why are you pushing it into the future? It's unnecessary, and I want you to speed that process up. And you can if you get the right mindset and getting around the right people. Other than everything that I mentioned now, I want to give you an example of what you would do with the 1,000 hours. For example, if you're a YouTuber. As a YouTuber, there's certain skill sets that you need to develop, the biggest one being titles and ideation and script writing. Because if you understand that package, you can pretty much outsource everything else once you get really good at it, because you'll begin to get some viral videos just based on the title and thumbnail alone. It's really difficult to outsource the title and ideation part, okay? Most of the other things you can. Now, how do you improve with the 1,000 hours on this? You just make 100 videos. Do 100 videos. After 100 videos, then you can evaluate what should you do. Should you continue this journey or not? If you haven't done the 100 videos, you haven't really gotten started yet. So just make them. Now, what happens once you get to 100 videos? If you then decide to continue with YouTube, which I recommend you would do if you've started that journey and you got help in clarifying that this is your space, you just make a better video and keep improving and making a better video and making a better video. Whose line is this? It's Mr. Beast, okay? He's just keep making a new, better video. That's it. Can you do that? You'll become a famous YouTuber if you just do that long term. Same thing with sales, okay? In sales, have you spoken to 10,000 people in the DMs, okay? If you're trying to get good at people with DMs. You haven't? Okay, but that's 100 days of talking to 100 people, right? That's what it is. It's 3+ months of just talking to 100 people every single day. And you can speed up the process by doing more, but that's just, 100 times 100. You kind of know if you want to do this thing after having done that. But sales is really taking it to the next level and doing 100 sales calls. And how do you improve with 100 sales calls? You just need to make sure that the next sales call is a better sales call. And that's how you do anything and any skill in life and how to progress in business. You just figure out which skill you need to learn and you just do it again and do it again and do it again. And you never stop until you become a master at that skill. Now, my friends, we can revert back to all the things that I mentioned in the beginning of this video, which was about setting up that sweet passive income in the future. It comes from making you first irreplaceable in your business, because no one can do it like you. No one. Now we get to phase 2. If you've learned in your industry what to do, and you do it again and again and again, and it is the right industry and you're sticking with it, phase 2 has arrived. What happens next? You've built your skills. Next is now your systems. You need to set up systems in place in order for you to replace yourself. You are the indispensable one, which means you can train other people. If you're training other people, what will you need to have in place? This is the time to talk about standard operating procedures. Since you are indispensable, you've now learned every single aspect of your business except for the things that you've outsourced. You take everything you've learned and you put it in SOPs. And then you take what you've outsourced and you get them to create the SOPs and you pay them for it. Because the making of SOPs is one of the highest leverage activities you can do. And if you could do that during your entire process of learning, documenting that skills development process, if you can help someone to do it in 1/10 of the time that it took you, imagine someone learning the same skill sets that you learned, but instead of taking 2,000 hours to learn it or 1,000 hours to do it, it only takes them 100 to 200 hours to learn it. Ooh, now we're talking, okay? So you can compress time by making better and better and better SOPs for people to use. The other systems that you need to put in place are automations, sales funnels, marketing funnels, and anything else that might be helpful to have run automatically in the background for the business to work. You also want to make sure that you're not the one that's necessary for the fulfillment as well. Because you've got sales and marketing, people are coming in, and then you have to be the fulfiller, okay? Because you are the expert. Well, right now it's time to train someone else to become the expert. And so you don't make it extreme from a price perspective. You make it based on the skill level of the people you've managed to recruit, because you got the money to recruit really good people, and you invest in those people and you train those people, and now you make sure that they are the best that they can be, and you train them to become better than what you are. Back in the day, you had to do everything in your business. And right now, you're creating departments in your business so that these people that are coming inside of your department are better than you in every single skill that you thought you were the best in. You made yourself irreplaceable, but now you're making other people irreplaceable in your business. Because if people are becoming irreplaceable in your business, that means that your business got value without you. This is the power of business. And every single business owner, if they want to replace themselves at some point, have to go through this exact process that I just mentioned. There is no other way around it. You have to build those systems if you want to get to $1 million and above in revenue. The last part of replacing yourself is my favorite, and that is replacing yourself with A players. Now, what does that mean? It means that you want, in the future, just like a father wants his son to become better than him and to dominate his space. I mean, there's nothing that would make LeBron James happier than if Bronny James became better than him and even more legendary than himself, right? Because as a product of the father, it's like, whoa, I managed to create that and teach the second generation. That's like, that nothing brings more joy to a father than seeing the second generation outpace him and do better. It's the exact same thing in business. So you as a business owner want to see A players, so people that you've recruited and handpicked who are amazing at what they do, decide to make your business their business and their way to financial freedom. Because if you make them massively rich, you've got a recipe for you to have generational wealth for generations to come. And it's not going to bless just your life, but your philosophies and your legacy will live on forever. It's pretty awesome how this works. But you have to find A players, and they need to tie their financial freedom goals and their life goals to your machinery. The most important part is that your A players get massive equity in your company so that they feel that they can supersede you and get better than you and make more money than you, because you don't care, because you can make endless amounts of businesses. That's the cool part about this, is replace yourself. And once you do, you can have unlimited passive income, and actually real passive income. There's a myth online these days that there's no such thing as real passive income. Bro, if you create a next generation that's actually better than you, there is such a thing as passive income. And that's what you've got to learn if you want it. Not everyone will get there because they're not willing to learn the truths that are necessary in order for them to win in that way, in creating that legacy. But if you do, I believe OnTrack is for you, and I'm right here waiting for you to book a call or DM me on Instagram, Joseph.ONTRACC with 2 C's. I'll see you guys in the next one.